Royalty springs from nobility, many times inherited through lineage alone, just by being born. But there are moments when destiny turns the table and carves a path for the humble, helping them to ascend to power against all odds, to give them a seat at the royal table. Join us in today's video as we see some of the medieval peasants that became king. Servius Tullius, King of Rome. Not much is known about Servius Tullius' childhood, but it is common knowledge that he was a slave. Stories had it that he was born into royalty by a princess who got captured and sold as a slave during a war. This version of the story has, however, faced criticism, as the people are of the opinion that rich Romans just made the story up to hide their shame of being ruled by a common slave. Despite the conflicting stories about his childhood, it was undeniable that he had been a special child since he was a kid, because his head would sometimes catch fire while he slept, like a sign from the gods. Eventually, Servius caught the eye of Tanaquil, who was married to King Tarquinius Priscus of Rome. She was known for being good at seeing the future. She predicted that Servius would do great things, so she married him to her daughter and started planning for him to become the next king. This made the powerful kids of the old king mad because they were supposed to be next in line for the throne. Then King Tarquinius Priscus mysteriously got hit in the head with an axe. Tanaquil cleverly said he survived and put Servius in charge while the king rested. When Servius got a good hold on power, they announced the old king's death and Servius became the new king as planned. Servius ruled for about 43 years. He fought and won against the Etruscans, and also organized Rome's first official count of its people, dividing them into 6 groups. His time as king was really successful, and people thought highly of him. Because of this, it's tricky to know for sure what other things he did, because later, Romans liked to give him credit for a lot of the city's customs. He passed away about 535 BC. Legend says his daughter Tullia ordered his murder, and then she disrespectfully rode over his body to see her husband become king. Liu Bang, Emperor of Han. Liu Bang, another medieval king who came from the dungeon to the palace. Liu Bang came from a poor family in Pei County, which is now in Jiangsu province, around 256 BC. Legend says that when he was born, there was a big storm, and a strange dragon appeared near his bed. He also had 72 spots on his leg, but in China, that was seen as lucky, so nobody thought it was strange. As a young adult, Liu Bang got a job as a government worker in the Sea River area. He, however, spent most of his days drinking away in a local bar and trying to impress women. Stories had it that he never paid for his drinks, but the bars didn't mind because of the drama that came with being drunken and knocked out. It was said that a ghastly dragon would show up, which attracted more customers. His luck eventually led to greatness when a big shot official visited the town and the local leaders gathered gifts for him. Liu didn't give anything, but he wrote on his card that he did. Instead of getting angry, the official was so impressed by Liu's looks that he married his daughter to him. Liu exposure birthed desires in him. He had witnessed the grand procession of the first emperor of the Qin dynasty on one of the days when he was performing a prisoner escort. He was so impressed by the lavish scene that he affirmed loudly that a man's life should be like that. Liu rebelled after the emperor died. He joined a group led by warlord Xiang Yu. Liu showed he was a strong leader and got a lot of followers. Xiang Yu then gave Liu control of the old Han kingdom in the west of China. But the decision backfired, and soon the two men were fighting each other for control of China. By 202 BC, Xiang Yu had killed himself, and Liu was made emperor. He was known for his colorful personality, like once peeing in a court scholar's hat to show he didn't care about education. Still, he's remembered as a kind and fair emperor who lowered taxes for farmers and worked hard to make the economy better. Justinian, Justin, and Theodora. Emperor Justinian of Byzantium was born in AD 483 into a peasant family that spoke Latin and were from Illyrian descent, and he always spoke Greek with a terrible accent. His birth name was Petrus Sabatius, which he changed to Justinian to honor his uncle Justin, who became the head of the palace grounds. Justinian's uncle and his friends went to Constantinople with almost nothing but the clothes on their backs and a bit of bread. But when Emperor Anastasius died without a kid to take over, Justin, who had the strongest military, became the new emperor. Justin initially refused to be emperor, but the crowd threatened to riot if officials didn't choose a new ruler, so they picked him. Since Justin rose through the ranks to become emperor, he never received a formal education, and Justinian became a key advisor to his uncle during his reign, which helped to prepare him for his own role. By 521, he had been given the rank of consul and wrote a letter to the Pope referring to the empire as our state. Justinian eventually succeeded his uncle in 527, having been formally made co-emperor 4 months earlier. Justinian's rule lasted 38 years. Those years were categorized by significant reforms in government and law, alongside some very ambitious campaigns to take back northern parts of Africa and Italy. Equally noteworthy is the life of Justinian's wife, Theodora. She started off her life being the daughter of a bear trainer in Constantinople's famed Hippodrome. Theodora rose to become an actress, a profession sometimes linked with prostitution at the time. Historical records suggest she held considerable sway over her husband, leveraging her position to champion the rights of Roman women across social classes. It was reported that Theodora played a pivotal role in securing Justinian's throne during the tumultuous Nika riots. The Nika riots was initially sparked by chariot racing rivalries, but escalated to threaten the city's stability. Justinian contemplated escape by ship. Theodora stood her ground and famously declared, "Never will I see the day when I am not saluted as empress." Her resolve, alongside decisive action, helped quieten the uprising and solidify Justinian's reign. Zhu Yuanzhang, Emperor of China. The first Ming emperor came from a very poor peasant family in Haozhou, which is now Fenyang in Anhui Province, China. Born as Zhu Chongba around AD 1328, his early life is not well known, but some later stories say he often had to eat grass and tree bark just to survive. When he was 16, both his parents had died, and he had to go to a monastery near Nanjing for safety. There he started learning to be a monk, and also learned to read and write, which later helped him a lot. But living in the monastery must have been really hard, and sometimes he had to beg for food in nearby villages. When Zhu was 24, the monastery was destroyed by government forces, who suspected the monks were involved with Red Turbans, a rebel group influenced by the powerful White Lotus secret society. Fleeing the destruction, Zhu joined the Red Turbans himself, quickly proving an able soldier and rising through the ranks to command his own army. In 1356, forces loyal to Zhu, who by then had changed his name to Zhu Yuanzhang, captured the city of Nanjing, which would later become the capital of the Ming dynasty. In 1363, he cemented his power by killing rival rebel leader Chen Yuliang in the Battle of Lake Poyang. 5 years later, his forces took the Yuan capital at what is now Beijing, allowing Zhu to declare himself Emperor of Nanjing, founding the famed Ming dynasty. Ivaylo the Cabbage, Tsar of the Bulgars. Vailo's birth date isn't known, but people think he came from northeast Bulgaria, maybe near Provadia. He was nicknamed Lakanas, which means cabbage in Greek, and Bodovka, Bulgarian for lettuce, because he was just a simple farmer who couldn't read. Around 1277, Ivaylo started gathering farmers to fight against the Mongols, who were causing problems for his people. The current leader, Tsar Constantine, wasn't doing much to help. After winning some battles, stories about Ivaylo spread, so Constantine sent an army to get rid of him. But Ivaylo's army beat him, and Constantine died in the fight. Some say Ivaylo killed him in a one-on-one fight. After defeating both the Mongols and his own leader, Ivaylo married Constantine's wife and became king in 1278. His time as king was short, just 1 year before the Mongols killed him. Still, people see him as the only peasant leader in medieval Europe who successfully rose up against the rulers. These kings are just a few of the people who were born as absolutely nobody of influence into this world, but as they traveled through time, destiny gave them a chance, and today their name is engraved in the Memorial of Life. Thanks for watching today's video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get more amazing content.